End of day 17. Just a thought. It's running through my head. You know what floor pans fit a Ford F100? A 1970 F100? Ford floor pans. That's it. Not LMC, not any other aftermarket floor pan in the world. Just Ford. So where I've got today is, there's the shot from the lower. I'm going to call it the Franken floor for now because it's got more screws and bolts in it than one truck should have. But they are mocked up and kind of screwed in place. And a whole bunch of this and that and that and that, those. And this is the result. So what I'm going to do, they have to come back out one more time because I'm going to trim out some stuff along the body here a little bit first. But I'm going to weld the front on both sides to the firewall. I'm going to weld that solid. And then I'm plug welding every 1.5 to 2 inches around. I have to totally rebuild the inner structure on both sides, on this side, on the outer, on both sides. That's pretty much completely shot. I still got to fab some metal pieces for this. Today wasn't weld day. Today was trim, cut, hammer, smash a finger every now and then kind of day. I am going to, still doesn't fit the greatest down there, but I'm going to use some angle steel and rebuild that inner lip that is goes right along here. It's just basically a piece of angle. It comes up and goes in about that far. It's just pretty much rotted out on both sides. So they're fitting pretty good now. So hell of an echo in this cab. I've got a couple holes there that are unidentified. Don't know what they went to. They had seam sealer all jammed up in them. Those two are the holes for the heater core, which, like I said, Cam talked me into putting the factory heat box assembly back in there. So these will come back out one more time. I'll do some final trimming, but again, I'm going to weld that edge solid. I'm going to plug weld all along these edges. I'll probably plug weld here, but I got to get that new piece underneath there. And I'm going to have to totally rebuild. See that daylight you can see there? Again, floor pan not wide enough. Like I said, you know what floor pans fit in a 70 F100? Ford floor pans. You know which ones don't? Them and every other company. So you got that, you got that, which I bought at LMC. But I'm not knocking LMC or any other aftermarket company. It's just, it is what it is. Aftermarket floor pans will fill a hole, but don't ever think that you're just going to lay the things in there and just start zapping, because that is not reality. You will hammer and drill and cut and grind and, till you run out of grinding discs, and I don't know. It just goes on and on and on. And at some point, you have to stop overthinking it and stop thinking you can make it fit better because you want to, and you just got to start welding. So I will pull these back out tomorrow. I have to weld together my cab mount, my Franken mount, the one I used off the 78. I have to weld it to the inner structure piece because it's kind of a two-piece welded together. And then get that cleaned up, and I'm going to probably put some kind of coating on the inside of that cab mount. And then I'm going to get the floor back in here. Again, I'm going to trim some of the original body. The original body will overlap probably about to there. So I'm going to trim the yellow basically all the way to where there's just probably 3/4 of an inch of overlap at the plug weld area. And when it's weld time, I'll fab all my other pieces. Because when I weld, I like to do all my welding at one time. So these things will be all fabbed together. I'll have that piece built and ready. I'll have the inner structure pieces, the new angle that I'm going to put underneath there, ready to go. I'll have something probably to fill those holes. I will have, I'll go ahead and weld that up at the same time. I will weld up the fuel door or the fuel hole at the same time. When I get the welder out, I just want to weld and be done. So miscellaneous holes, what that is, no idea. What that is, do have an idea. That was packed. That's where that inner structure piece came across. That thing was packed full of about 10 pounds of road crap that started building up in 1970. So anyway, that's the update for day 17. Should be back out here tomorrow night and finish getting all these pieces built. And then I'm thinking maybe the next day will be when the welder breaks out and I start a zapping. Wish me luck, one way or another, getting welded in. Day 17 coming to an end. A little bit of something from day 18, kind of just getting started. So I got this pan fitting about as good as it's going to fit. Got everything marked. Kind of worked the edge over a little bit. Cut out the nastiness there. What I made was a couple of templates. I don't see them sitting around right now, but and let's see if I can kind of show you this. I just got a piece that I'm going to fit in here and do that there. And another piece for back here up on the high side. I'm going to weld in there. And then I'll probably just lay another little piece right between the two. That'll come right through here. So that's the update on that. One thing I didn't talk about on day 17 was when I mentioned before that you can put these pans too deep. I went ahead and put a spacer, just a 1/2 inch piece of wood, just so it's sitting in the right spot. Did it on that side over there too. It's kind of falling out a little bit, but you get the point. Just to kind of protect myself, to make sure that I don't go down too far. Because how would you ever know? So just a little tip and a heads up on this. You can put them in too far. They seem like they fit, and then next thing you know, especially if you're trying to do it with the cab off, that's when you run into the problems. If you do it with the cab on, you're not going to have that problem, because as far as you can go down is the rail, which, you know, you'll know that. So that's it. Get ready to take this one out. I'm going to trim around on the yellow and get it all ready to go. Clean it up. Pretty much done trimming on the black. I'm just got to clean up the edges, because like I said, I'm going to weld that edge solid. I got to trim this a little bit right here around this column opening. Just going to weld that edge solid. I'm going to plug weld all this. Then I'm going to weld this solid. And of course, weld all this. Cut out my piece for my deal here. I'm going to get that zapped on. We'll get those welded up. And we're good to go. No welding on day 18. Once I get done fitting this and do everything I need to do on my list, I'll jump over to this side and do the same thing. So hopefully by the end of day 18, which is going to be a long day, it's because I got to get over and do the same thing on that side. And there's even more work on that side because that's the side that has the two-pieced cab mount that I kind of had to build. So got some more trim work and stuff to do on that. But like I said, no welding on day 18. This is just get everything prepped, get ready to roll. And day 19, I've got a lot of welding to do. Notice the technique. How good of a job she's doing. Don't want nobody to know that I worked on that junky truck. Talking about breaking out the big guns. When you got to get something done, you call the Shan dog. And she'll knock it right out. Because her attitude is like, why is it taking you so damn long? Let me show you how to do that. So, she's showing me. Checking back in on day 18. Got the left side ready to go in. Done all the trimming, all the cutting, all the prepping. Here's the pan. One thing I forgot to mention is, I didn't know this until working on this, but the F100s in this year are not the same on both sides. The driver's floor pan is a lot wider than the passenger. The hump kind of takes a turn over here, but it's not centered. So I didn't know that until they brought me the floor pans at LMC and sat them on the floor, and I'm like, something doesn't look right. Well, it's because that's the way this is. So I put some chassis saver on that. I'll recoat that again before I put everything down in there. And so this side's ready for the welder. I am not rebuilding the lip on this side, that outer floor lip. We're gonna call that good. It's plenty good. There's still some metal there to weld to, and that's what we're going with. Other side, different story. Just getting ready to start cleaning up this side and trimming it up. Other side, this side, different story. I cut that whole lip out, and I'm gonna put some angled steel in there as a brace. I'll just weld in from here all the way up to there. A piece of angle. I just have to bend it to the right angles there and get it up in there. Need to finish cleaning up all this yellow. I trimmed all along the edge here, so we're only overlapping about 3/4 to half, or 3/4 to an inch. And then we're welding it solid along here, just like the other side. We are welding it solid all along the front edge, and then we're going to plug weld all along this and here. So that's where we're at on this. Got Blake doing the chassis saver on the inner fenders, this whole inner structure, and it's coming out good. This is just the first coat. Had to break out the big guns, so he'll have that underside first coat on that by the end of the night, and won't be long. I'm gonna do this angle piece and finish prepping the actual floorboard, and I'll be done for the night. We'll put day 18 in the books and call it a win.